When we think of secret societies, many of us picture the Freemasons, the historical brotherhood, the handshake, the rituals. These societies, for better or worse, have woven their threads into the fabric of Western history. But what if I told you that there's another brotherhood operating in the shadows of the East, far from the public eye, with an empire so deep and vast that even the most powerful governments fear its reach? Enter the Chinese Freemasons, also known as the Hongmen. To the untrained eye, they might appear as just another cultural group, a band of individuals united under the banners of tradition. But this is no ordinary society. Beneath the surface, there's an undercurrent of power, crime, and influence, with one man pulling all the strings. Let's take a step back in time. The Hongmen weren't always the shadowy force they are today. Their origins trace back to the 18th century, born out of a desire to fight against the oppressive Qing dynasty. In those early years, they were a group of patriots, a brotherhood formed in the fires of rebellion, seeking to restore the fallen Ming dynasty. Fast forward a few centuries, and their mission has taken a darker turn. Instead of fighting for freedom, they now fight to control the underground economies of the East, to control the flow of illegal trades, to control the cities and regions that play host to their covert operations. What was once a righteous cause has, over time, evolved into a secret empire of organized crime, steeped in manipulation, betrayal, and corruption. At the top of this dangerous hierarchy stands a man who embodies the dark side of ambition, Wan Kwok Koi, or as he's more famously known, Broken Tooth. To understand his rise, you have to look at the roots of his empire. Macau, a city of glittering casinos, high-stakes gambling, and wealth beyond imagination. It was here, in the heart of the gaming world, that Wan made his name. But he wasn't some lowly card shark. He was a man who knew how to play the game of power. In the 1990s, Wan wasn't just running gambling operations, he was controlling the very lifeblood of Macau's underworld. The VIP rooms of the city's most luxurious casinos, he owned them. The stakes were high, and so was the money. But for Wan, it was never about the glamour, it was about control. In 1999, Wan Kwok Koi was arrested, sentenced to 15 years for a range of crimes, including illegal gambling, extortion, and running a criminal syndicate. It seemed like his reign had come to an end. But if you think that was the end of his story, you're mistaken. Because Wan wasn't just a mob boss. He was a man who understood the true nature of power. He sat in prison, yes, but his reach never loosened. He didn't lose control. In fact, he was quietly rebuilding his empire from behind bars. When he was finally released in 2012, it wasn't just as a man coming out of prison. It was as the re-emergence of a kingpin. But here's the twist. Instead of retreating into the shadows of organized crime, Wan Kwok Koi reinvented himself. This time he wasn't just a criminal boss, he was a businessman, a philanthropist, a cultural icon. In 2013, Wan officially launched the World Hongmen History and Culture Association. On the surface, it looked harmless enough, an organization dedicated to preserving Chinese history, culture, and tradition. To the outside world, Wan Kwok Koi was no longer a criminal mastermind. He was a man of culture trying to promote unity and understanding. But beneath the surface, the association was a front, one that masked a complex web of illicit operations, from cybercrime to money laundering to human trafficking. The world's eyes were trained on the public image of a cultural leader, while the real story was unfolding in the shadows. Wan Kwok Koi had successfully turned his criminal empire into a multifaceted business venture, hiding behind the facade of a nonprofit organization. And for many, it worked. No one suspected that the Hongmen was still operating just as it had for centuries, only now, in the digital age. One of the most profitable and dangerous activities in Wan's network, the pig butchering scam. This isn't just a catchy name, it's a multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme that has plagued countless innocent people around the world. Victims are targeted by scammers who promise them huge returns on cryptocurrency investments, only to steal their money once they've invested their life savings. The Hongmen's tentacles reach far and wide in this operation, with Juan and his associates orchestrating it all from behind the scenes. These aren't just small-time crooks. This is international crime on a grand scale, and it's all operating under the guise of an organization that claims to promote culture and heritage. Now let's talk about what really sets the Hongmen apart from the Freemasons you might be familiar with. When we think of Freemasonry in the West, we think of rituals, secret handshakes, community service, and ideals of brotherhood. Sure, there are rumors about their influence in politics and business, but for the most part, the Western Freemasons are seen as a group focused on improving society and helping others. The Hongmen, however, operates in an entirely different way. Instead of using its power for charity and community building, the Hongmen uses it to manipulate, control, and exploit. In the West, Freemasons hold charitable events, donate to causes, and play public roles in shaping society. In the East, the Hongmen is a silent force in the underworld, running illegal operations and consolidating power in the shadows. Where Western Freemasons are about bringing light into the world, the Hongmen is about keeping the darkness hidden, manipulating markets, corrupting governments, and running shadow economies. So who is Juan Kwok Khoi? He's not just a man who controls the underworld of Macau. He's a master of reinvention. After serving his time in prison, he became a symbol of respectability. But while the world saw him as a philanthropist and cultural icon, his true identity remained that of a powerful criminal overlord, a puppet master whose influence stretched across the globe. He controls more than just a criminal empire. He controls an entire network of influence, quietly pulling the strings of the world's biggest and most lucrative illegal trades. His reach extends far beyond Macau. It spans countries, continents, and industries. And as his power continues to grow, the question is no longer how he operates, but who will stop him. So the next time you hear the term Freemason, ask yourself, what does that word really mean? In the West, it's associated with charity, public service, and brotherhood. But in China, the Hongmen is a shadowy, secret empire built on crime, manipulation, and control. And at the heart of it all is Juan Kwok Khoi, a man who has mastered the art of using both culture and crime to build a global empire. As the world turns its gaze toward the secrets of secret societies, the truth about the Hongmen remains hidden in plain sight. And one thing is clear, this battle for power is far from over. Thank you for watching Crime by Chapter. If this case left you wanting more, like and subscribe so you never miss a moment.